Guys, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to look at LeetCode number 424, longest repeating character replacement. So, since you've looked up this video, I assume that you've read about the problem description. So I'm not going to go into detail here. You can also pause the video and read about it on LeetCode or on the screen. So we can see that we're basically looking for the length of the longest substring containing all repeating characters that you can get after performing replacement operation after up to k times. So the first thing that we do when we get a LeetCode problem is to try to categorize it, at least for me, is try to categorize it into a category of problems that we've familiarized ourselves with through our past LeetCode practices. So here I categorized it into a sliding window problem. So when I look at a problem, there are two signs that usually tell me that this is a sliding window problem. So the first sign is that it's dealing with an array. So a string is an array of characters, so it fits into the first requirement. And the second sign is that it's dealing with an array that fits into a certain kind of description, especially when we're looking at a contiguous subarray that fits into a certain kind of description, because that's when we can use a sliding window, because the sliding window has a start index and an end index, and it has to be used for a contiguous array. So these are the two signs that tell me that this problem is a sliding window problem. So whenever I have a sliding window problem, I usually start by initializing some values. So we have to initialize a start of the sliding window and the end of the sliding window. And we also want to initialize our return value, which here I call it max. And some other general steps that I always go through for all the sliding window problems is I also initialize a for loop or a while loop to scan through the array that I get. So here this is the looping through each of the character in the string. And I also make sure to update my return result at the end of each iteration and make sure that I go to the next iteration. So these are the steps that I do for all the sliding window problems. So now we look at parts that are unique to this problem. So the first thing is that we have a repeat variable. What is the repeat variable? It tells us the maximum frequency with which a character has appeared up to our current index. And we also have a frequency called frec record. This is an information that we use to keep track so the key is the character and the value is the frequency with which this character has appeared in the past. So this is the information that we want to keep track of in order to make a decision about as we scan through the sliding window. So we can see that in each iteration, the first thing that we do is to update the information that we keep track of. So as we get a new character, we increment the frequency in our dictionary. So this is what this line is doing. And the next line, we update our repeat value. So because we get a new character, we incremented our frequency. We want to check if it becomes the character that has appeared the most in the past. If it is, then we update the repeat value. And this is the key of this problem, which is which we use to make a decision about whether this new window that we have fits into the requirement. If it doesn't, then we have to update our window for it to fit into the requirement. How do we make a decision about whether this window will fit into our requirement? We compare, this is the window length, and this is the maximum frequency with which a character has appeared in the past. So basically, in other words, it tells us the number of characters that we don't have to replace. So our window length minus the characters we don't have to replace have to be smaller than or equal to the number of characters that we can replace. When this number is bigger than the number of characters that we can replace, we know that we have to update our window. So we update the map that we have, and we also update our window by incrementing the start index. And yeah, so at the end of each iteration, we update our return value, and we also increment the end so that we can get into the next iteration. And so this is the solution code for this problem. As you can see, I've made mistakes in the past. So this mistake was because of the frequency.get or default. I think, I should emphasize this. I think this method is pretty tricky because we have to remember that the first parameter is the key, and the second parameter is the default value that we want to put in if we don't find any value associated with that key. So yeah, I thank you for going through this problem with me, and please definitely post any comments or any suggestions you have for the video, any question that any specific legal questions you want to see, or just anything basically in the comment section. Thank you.